As always, this is for EIE purposes only. This is for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Now, let's community. Many thanks to at Tabitha Speaks Politics. She did a live earlier today, and she touched on these House resolutions from a feed by Jamie Carter on Blue Sky. So you can see, as you can see, I have some clips of it here, but definitely to review it yourself, by all means, go to Blue Sky and go to Jamie Carter's feed, and she touches on all of the House resolutions that the GOP has for their first 12 days. So let's touch them, shall we? House Resolution HR 21 to amend Title 18 United States Code to prohibit a health care practitioner from failing to exercise the proper degree of care in the case of a child who survives an abortion or attempted abortion. Make of that what you will. House Resolution 22 to amend the National Voter Registration Act of 1993 to require proof of the United States citizenship to register an individual to vote. House Resolution 25 to promote freedom, fairness, and economic opportunity by repealing the income tax and other taxes, abolishing the Internal Revenue Service, and enacting a national sales tax to be administered primarily by the states. House Resolution 32 to provide that sanctuary jurisdictions that provide benefits to aliens who are present in the United States without lawful status under the immigration laws are ineligible for federal funds. House Resolution 38 to amend Title 18 United States Code to provide a means by which non-residents of a state whose residents may carry concealed firearms may also do so in the state. In other words, you can carry firearms throughout these United States. House Resolution 48 to amend the Public Health Service Act to ensure that women seeking an abortion receive an ultrasound and the opportunity to review the ultrasound before giving informed consent to an abortion. House Resolution 49 to prohibit the use of federal funds for the HHS Reproductive Healthcare Access Task Force. House Resolution 55 to repeal the National Voter Registration Act of 1993. House Resolution 62 to prohibit federal funds from being awarded or otherwise made available to the Fulton County District Office, to the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. In case you're wondering, that's Fannie Willis's District Attorney's Office, and their aim is to defund her office for funds. House Resolution 78 to amend Title 18 to prohibit certain abortion procedures. Basically, they're going step by step to make a national ban on abortion. House Resolution 85 to amend the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938 to allow the pooling of tips among all employees and for other purposes. In other words, all those who thought that, who were so excited about their tips not being taxed, now the business owners can pull all the tips all together and do with them as they decide. So that's why you don't have to worry about them being taxed. House Resolution 86 to abolish the Occupational Safety Health Administration, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, and for other purposes, basically abolishing OSHA. So all those safety measures, work safety areas, for example, even during my military service, when we found asbestos in the buildings, OSHA came in and set forth the guidelines by which we can, take care of those hazardous requirements before and make sure that all of the personnel working in those environments were protected. All right, let's keep going. House Resolution 93 to prohibit funding to the Special Representatives for Racial Equity and Justice of the Department of State. You can figure that out. Means they're removing the funding. House Resolution 114 to repeal the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act and the Health Care and Education Reconciliation Act of 2010. Basically, they're repealing what some would call Obamacare. House Resolution 151 to require a citizenship question on the decennial census, to require reporting on certain census statistics, and to modify apportionment of representatives to be based on United States citizens instead of all persons. They're doing their own gerrymandering. House Resolution 156 to ensure election integrity and security by establishing consistent photo identification requirements for voting elections for federal office and for other purposes, basically restricting the voter pool. House Resolution 191 to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022. House Resolution 203 to withhold federal highway funds from states that provide driver's licenses or identification cards to aliens who are unlawfully present in the United States and for other purposes. Doesn't happen. How many undocumented folks are going to walk in to request licenses? That's kind of telling on themselves, wouldn't it be? House Resolution 240 to amend the Fair Labor Standards Act to provide for the preemption of certain state overtime laws for agricultural employees, basically taking away your overtime. House Resolution 361 to authorize the president to seek to enter into negotiations with the Kingdom of Denmark to secure acquisition of Greenland by United States. House Resolution 370 to prohibit the provision of federal funds to any state or local educational agency that denies or prevents participation in constitutionally protected prayer in schools. Basically, all things Christian and nothing else. House Resolution 369 to provide for the elimination of the Department of Education and for other purposes. That means all of our neurodivergent community, our special needs community, IEPs, gone. The resources to support our children in schools throughout various stages of education, gone. House Resolution 400 to prohibit contributions to the United Nations Human Rights Council. And that's, according to Jamie Carter, that this is just the worst of the worst. And like she said, we try to warn everyone. So what does this mean? As a military mom who's been stationed a variety of places, I've had to keep my son over the years in one location with my mom in order to ensure that at least he gets as best of a quality of education as possible. And even when we were in the same locations advocating for resources, I realized a little too late that the education, many of the education systems, although there are exceptions to that, a lot of them were not necessarily caught up to the needs of our neurodivergent population, right? So if this applies to you, start looking at resources where you can homeschool. Actually, even for mainstream, for our Black community, even our mainstream children. Listen, we can sponsor or pull our resources together and hire even virtual teachers to teach our children the fundamentals, and also to ensure that they learn about our past, our history, from whence they came, so that they are well-rounded. As it is in this case right now, they're looking to make abortion a national ban. They're looking to tax us even more, besides the tariffs and that removing the IRS, but yet still national tax plus state tax. And they're looking to make sure that they are in control of reproductive rights. As far as voting, they're looking to restrict that to create so many layers of requirements that it diminishes the voting pool and voting eligibility pool. These are some of the things on the docket. Make of that what you will. Don't take my word for it. Please go ahead, go to Blue Sky, and look up Jimmy Carter's feed. And again, thank you to Tabitha Speaks Politics for her live early today and bringing all of this to our attention. As above, so below. Stay blessed. Namaste. Ase.